Hello, my name is Katie and welcome to my shed. Thank you very much for joining me. It's the third week of me doing multiple birds and I'm really enjoying it, so that's why I thought I would do it again. For a change, I'm doing a non-native bird. I'm going to give you a clue. My jumper is in the same colour as they are. I'm going to do a flamingo. I've never done a flamingo before, but I thought it'd be quite fun, and it's in honour of the fact that we're going on holiday soon and flamingos remind me of going on holiday. Do we want to do weather talk today? I think we should anyway. It's sunny and I wasn't expecting it to be sunny. It's been pretty grim weather the last few days, so it's a bit of a bonus to have a day off and some sunshine, but I'm not really utilising it as much as I should. And I don't know if my face gives it away. I had a headache in the night and it hasn't quite budged, so I'm feeling a little bit sorry for myself and could easily have spent the morning just sat on the sofa feeling sorry for myself, but figured I should probably get moving because that usually helps, doesn't it? It usually makes you feel better if you do something. So I'm going to come do some painting and hopefully shift my brain fog. So the plan will be, whether the plan comes to pass or not, the plan will be to do the same that I did the last couple of weeks, so do multiple paintings and sort of evolve and develop based on that. So I'm going to start with a watercolour because I've been enjoying doing that and trying to sort of be quite loose and expressive with my marks. We'll see if we do one or two, just see how it goes, and then moving on to doing an acrylic painting afterwards. So that's what we're going to do. And I did say in the end of the last video, but you won't have had a chance to watch that yet because that gets uploaded on Saturday. Let me know if these kind of videos if you're enjoying them or not, because there's less talking and more of just watching me paint, and I'm not sure everyone really wants to do that, but I don't know. Give me your feedback, let me know. I'm enjoying filming them, but equally if no one wants to watch them, then I'll probably stop filming them and I'll film something else and just do these on my own with an audiobook on. Anyway, that's about 4 minutes of me waffling on about nonsense, so let's get painting. Okay, so I have just drawn it out. The reference material is a photo of Unsplash as per usual, and I'm just going to focus on the head, get the detail in here, and then the rest of it will be pretty loose. That's the plan anyway. If you've watched the last two videos, you'll know that my plans I normally change my plans, but I'm going to start with getting the eye in and the beak in, and then we'll work our way around. Paint wise, I will use I think I'll stick with the Rosa galleries because I do like those, although there is one colour, let me just grab it off my swatch list. Yeah, so in the Daniel Smiths there is this Rose of Ultramarine, which is a granulating one, and I know there isn't a lot of purples in Flamingos, they're kind of pink, but I wondered something like this might be quite nice for the shadows, so I might use a touch of that in the shadow. So yeah, let's see how we get on. That's fine. I'm going to use the same brush that I've been using the last couple of weeks, which is this one. I actually don't know, Master's Touch Round. I don't know anything about whether this is a good brush, anything like that, because it's out of the workshop brushes and I'm just borrowing it because I still haven't bought any brushes, despite saying for the last 4 weeks that I'm going to buy some watercolour brushes. So I'm going to use that one, and I've got this palette, which is the palette that I've been using the last couple of weeks. Yes, it's a little bit disgusting. I'll probably use most of these colours in the shadows, so it seems a waste to clean it. I can't remember which set this one is, and it's one that I've added a couple of colours to, so it definitely didn't come with a Caput Mortem, and there was something else I've added to. This one is the classic set, and I've been using this one for a while. So we'll have both those out and we'll make a start. I'm going to start with the eye and the beak, with getting sort of the landmarks in, let that dry, and then we'll go in with the rest of it. Well, that was quite fun. I did obviously started quite nicely and then it's gone a bit messy, but I'd realised quite early on that it wasn't quite going to plan, so I thought I'd use it as an opportunity just to explore how the paints interacted and the colours and everything, so that, you know, hopefully I can do a better one next time. So the bits that haven't gone to plan is the beak is too dark. I want that to be lighter around here, so there's more contrast with the dark around the eyes. I think I preferred when I'd used the indigo sort of mix for the shadows than when I went in with the purple. Well, it wasn't purple, it's the rose of ultramarine. Now, I don't know, let me zoom in a little bit so see if you can see here. But here, I like this little bit where the granulation is, but I really don't like blooming. I just, for me, it's not, it doesn't do anything for me, and I don't like this bit. And that's often where I've gone in with the wet on wet, and this is a cellulose based paper, so the colours don't always merge as well. So I think, I'm not saying I won't use it on the next one, but I think I just need to be a bit more mindful about how I use it, so that I don't get these blooming marks, because for me, I'm not a fan. It's happened here as well. Then I quite like this colour. I thought this worked quite nicely. That was a mixture of the Naples blush with Opera Rose, and I wanted to add in a few sort of more orangey tones, but it was just looking muddy where I did it here. So then I went in a bit heavier, and this is too heavy. So I think I just need to think through how I'm going to get those slightly orangey tones, or if I just leave them out. I haven't done any background. I might do one either side, different colour either side, just to decide one either side to decide what I'm going to do on the next one. And I might leave a little bit of it just with pen. I'll tell you what I'll do. If I do the pen first, then I can see what it looks like with no background. Then I'll go in with the dark background, which is my thing at the moment. See what that looks like on one half of it, and then maybe a slightly lighter one on the other side. We'll see. I'm going to let this dry a bit more, and then we'll go in with the background. This is a bit of a mess, isn't it? So interestingly, I do like this colour, and that is a mixture of the Rose of Ultramarine, Daniel Smith, with the Rosa Gallery Naples blush. I really must check that's the name of the colour, but I quite like this colour, but it doesn't go for the background. I don't know, I like the green with it. I think that looks quite nice, but you get more contrast maybe with this dark colour. So I am undecided. Shock horror. Yeah, not sure. I'm going to stare at it for a little while and then we'll try again once I've decided which bits I like and which bits I don't like. This is harder than it looks like. It's harder than it should be. This is better. I need to get the darks in and just get a bit of definition and get that beak in, and then I'll make a decision about the background. But there's some marks in here that I really like. Got less of the blooming. There's a tiny bit of it going on, but I can deal with it. That didn't go to plan, did it? It started alright and then I faffed around too much. So I'm going to leave it alone for a bit. I'm going to have some lunch and then come back and look at it, and hopefully it will dry not too hideously. But who knew flamingos were so hard? It looked like it should be really simple to do, but it's not turning out very simple. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Well, it's actually dried okay, so yay. What I'm going to do now is do some background, then do some ink, some pen over the top, and then we're going to leave it alone and hopefully do some acrylics. I feel like it looks a bit of a hot mess, but I don't necessarily dislike it. I just think perhaps I've gone a bit too hard gradient. If I'd have stuck with this kind of colour rather than going really dark, might have been better. I'm just going to do some outline because, you know, that's what I do. And I've got, this one is like a felt pen really, but just feel like it goes on a little bit easier than the fine liner. But you, oh dear, getting paint all up my arm. I like to put in some of these sort of scratchy, scribbly marks around it. That's just because I like the texture and the way that that looks. But okay, that's not everyone's cup of tea. Okay, so I'm going to start the acrylic. I'm literally just going to get the background in. because then I've got to go and do a school run. But I'm going to do like a really, really dark green instead of complete black for the background. If you remember with the peregrine, I did like had a red tint to it, so this time I'm going to go with a green tint because I think that will look good against the pink. So I'm going to use good old trusty Payne's grey and peregrine green and just kind of see how that goes. And it's only the background, so if I hate it I can just paint over it. So I'm just going to get that in first, and then I'll go in and do the flamingo, which is kind of the opposite way around to how I normally work, but it feels right today, so that's what we're going to do. All the way back round to Saturday again, because you know the weeks go, don't they? And we've been getting this storm, I think it's Storm Amy, that's hitting us at the moment. So if you hear even more noises than normal, that will be because there's a lot of wind outside. So it's a bit miserable, I'm afraid. So the plan for today is to try and work on this acrylic painting that we started on Tuesday. I mean, I've got to do some work to make this look any good, but you know, got to start somewhere. I'm debating whether to finish the background before I put the flamingo in. I will do that. And guess who forgot to wash their brushes? So my brushes are somewhat hard. Well, they'll be going in soak. And one day I will learn to look after my stuff. Probably won't. I'll try. Right, let's get this background done. I'm going to use some more of the I used peregrine green last time. I think I want to put something else in it as well, just because this looks a bit too dark. So I might go with something like what have we got? We've got a phthalo green, two actually, but the Daniel Smith one's probably darker. So I'm looking over here at my swatches, or I've got a liquitex one. I'll see which one is at the top of the box, but I'll get them and then we'll do a bit more of the background. To do a little clip because the whole shed is rattling. It's just stopped now, but I reckon we're going to get another gust in a minute. Yeah, this wind is brutal, and that tree is bashing on the side of the shed. I'm a bit worried. I'm hoping I'm not going to lose any fence panels or the roof of the shed. That would be quite bad. Well, this is not going to plan, is it? It's just, it's way harder than it looks. I'm gonna have to stop for the day because I just can't work out what I'm doing. So I'm gonna let it dry, do my usual, sand it back, re-gesso it, and then try and work through it a bit more. I can't see me pulling it back. But let's not say never. Never say never. I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully we can work out how to transform this into something that is not awful. Well, I've come back in the same day, which I never do come in the evenings because it's very dark outside. But there is a play date, sleepover going on in our house, and quite frankly, it's noisy. So I came back in here. I've just sanded this. I walked in, I was like, oh, it's worse than I remember. But I've sanded it back and I've just re-gessoed it. So I'm going to wait for that to dry and then probably start fresh on top of it because it's pretty grim. So I'm just cleaning my palette and thinking about what I'm going to do. I've just been editing what I did this afternoon, and oh, it's just horrible. Let's have faith. Right, I'm going to pop the heater on, get this dry and clean my palette, and then we'll do some more painting. Well, this is looking much better. I've got more of my sort of personality, I think, in with the mark making. I'm still not sure. I don't know if the purple is the right colour for the shadows and for the beak. But also I think I might be overthinking it. I am going to turn it around and look at it in the camera because I feel like I get a bit more distance and that helps. But these, let's bring it a little bit closer for you to see the marks. So I prefer these marks around here are much more sort of how I normally like to mark make. I'm just not sure about the colour of the beak now. It's just a little bit jarring for me, as in very jarring. So I think what I'll do, obviously we need to let it dry, and then I'll go back over with, what I'll probably do actually is use this colour, which one is it? It's the Liquitex light pink. I think if I use this with a little bit of the matte medium to thin it out over the top of this, it'll just knock it back enough so it doesn't feel so purple. Oh, I talk some rubbish, don't I, on here? Right, it's past my bedtime now. So I'm going to let this dry, go in, try and encourage some children to have a sleep and have a can of Pepsi, because I know how to party on a Saturday night. Right, have a good night and I will catch you tomorrow. Morning, bright and breezy, just like I like it. The girls are up quite early. I mean, I was already up because I do get up silly o'clock because of, you know, hormones. When you get to a certain age, you don't sleep, ladies, just so you know. TMI. So anyway, the girls are up, so I got up and showered and have decided to come in here for an hour or so before I head out to go meet my family. I'm much more happy with, oh my goodness, what's happening with my hair? It's very floofy this morning. Anyway, aside from that, I'm happy with this. It's looking better. It's still got a way to go. I'm gonna sort out the eye and the beak, because as I keep saying, I think if you get the eye and the beak in with any bird, you probably don't need to get anything else in. It's a bit like with a human. If you just get the eyes in, you can usually work out who it is. And it's the same with birds. So I'm going to get that in and then reassess this sort of purple shadowing. I think that's going to go. But then I think it's done. So we're in a better place than I thought we were going to be. Okay, something noisy going on out there. Let me turn you around. I'll get you as zoomed in onto the eye as I can, allowing me to still paint, because sometimes when the camera's so low I can't get the brush in. Okay, I think I'm done. Sorry, it's the afternoon of Sunday now. I've done the last mow of the year. I say that every year, that it's going to be the last mow of the year, and there's usually about 3 more. So let's see how many more mows I have to do before it really is the last mow of the year. And I've weeded a whole flower bed. I mean, it's about 2 meters of flower bed. So my garden is just so bed heavy. It just never looks nice. But one day I'll come up with something that means it looks nice and I don't have to spend months weeding and tidying. Right, let me bring this painting over. I'm going to have a proper look at it. This is such a mess, this shed. Right, so here we are. So it feels done to me. It's only one patch that I'm not 100% sure of, and that's just this little bit of green here, and I wanted it to be light behind, but I can't work out if it just looks like it's unfinished or not. But I'm happy with the eye, like the face, I think looks okay, and then it does go down, and it is looser sort of down here. I did knock back quite a lot of the purple. I left a little bit in because I do like the purple, and just knocking that beak back a little bit I think has helped. Is it the painting I'm going to hang up in my bedroom and look at and love forever? Probably not. But I often find when I've really struggled with a painting, I kind of fall out of love with it through the process and then wouldn't want it hanging up in my house anyway. I guess it's just that emotional sort of response I get to seeing it. I'm like, oh, that was hard work. So I suspect that might be why. But yeah, I think it's done. I think we're good. It would probably look better framed, as they all would. but have I got a frame the right size? Probably, yes. Am I going to frame it? Probably not. Not at this stage anyway. It will need, I'll varnish it to make it matte, because I do like the matte varnish, which is what I did with the peregrine from last week, and that looks, I don't know if you can see, it's not shiny anymore. It was shiny last week, and for me I prefer that sort of real matte finish, unless I'm going to mix. Sometimes I like to have matte and shiny bits sort of to contradict each other in a painting, but not in something like this. So yes, next week you might see it varnished, you might not. I think we won't talk about the watercolours, they were pretty rough. I think I could go back and do them better by not putting in any background and keeping them looser, because this one, the second one I did, was much better, and then I put the background in and that ruined it all. But I am not feeling a burning desire to do that. I don't feel like I care enough about that image, because it's not something I'm gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna pop it in my house. It's probably not something that I would go on to try and do cards of or sell. So I think we will leave it as an exercise that probably won't be repeated. And although I do quite like this one, it looks even better in the camera actually. We'll see if I fall back in love with it. So for now, I will leave you be. I think next week we might come on with something different. Really fancy doing some printing, because it's been a little while since I've done that, and somebody asked me a question about the dry point printing, and that made me think, oh yeah, I haven't printed for a while. And what I quite fancy is doing one of the owls, might even use the same sort of image, and do a Tetra Pak print or something like that, and see what kind of image we get with that, because that would be quite a fun thing to do and quite Halloweeny, definitely autumnal. So that might be what I do, but you all know me, I say I'm going to do one thing and then the next week comes and I've changed my mind, because I can. Okay, so have a lovely week and I will see you soon. Bye.